record mo na. So good day, everyone. We're here to report our research for removing chemicals. So I am Hazel Pakingan from BSHM3B, and I'm here to discuss the type of stain, which is the feces and urine. So you can see in the picture, the material that just is the bed sheet. So next, so the procedure in removing feces and urine stains. So for feces, it is important to act quickly when removing feces and urine stain from a foam mattress. Fresh stain are easily removed in cold water. It is important not to use hot water for washing, otherwise, the stain may become even more impregnated and difficult to remove. So the first step is to get rid of feces stain. Start by removing excess poop with a moist tissue or semi-disposable cloths and throw them in the trash immediately. So soak for 15 minutes in mixture of water, 1/2 teaspoon liquid hand dishwashing detergent, and 1 tablespoon anomia. So rub gently from back to loosen stain, and then soak another 15 minutes in above mixture and then rinse. So soak protein stain in enzyme product like a vanish print odor or neutralizing trigger for at least 30 minutes and then soak stain for several hours. So if color stain launder, using chlorine bleach if safe for fabric or with oxygen bleach. And then next is the ingredients. If you are at home, syempre may mga DIY tayo na tinatawag kasi pag nasa bahay ka, may other ingredients na hindi naman available. So, as much as possible, mini-make sure natin na kung ano yung meron sa bahay is magagamit pa din natin. So if you are at home, you can also apply this step, but you can use a home cleaning detergent. You can also soak the bedsheet with the water and then washing detergent. So the procedure is soak the fabric in water, liquid soap, and bleach without chlorine. So after letting it up for a while, wash it normally. The longer you soak, the easier it is to remove the stain. So for the urine stain, strip your mattress and get your bedding into the washing machine as quickly as possible. So urine stain will set. So it is important to get your sheet and comforter to the wash immediately. So grab a clean, dry towel and blot the soiled area to soak up as much as excess liquid as possible. So avoid scrubbing the spot where the urine is because this will push the liquid further into the fabric of the mattress, making it harder to remove fully. So you can use a DIY mattress cleaning solution for the easier techniques. So the DIY solution is the ingredients is 2 to 3 tablespoons of laundry detergent and then 1 cup of white vinegar and 2 cups of cold water. So, yung white vinegar, ang effective nito is para matanggal yung amoy ng peses. So, the more kasi na pinabayaan natin siya or nababad siya, hindi siya na-actionan agad, the more na mas kakapit yung amoy and then mahirap siya tanggalin. So, allow the solution soap mattress to sit for a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes and then cover the entire surface of the soiled area with baking soda and allow it to sit for 8 to 10 hours. So, close up the room to avoid any distraction. So, bawal kasi siya sa bata. As much as possible, iniiwas natin siya lalo na sa bahay. maano siya, magalaw siya ng mga bata kasi iba yung effect nito sa bata. So vacuum the dried baking soda from the mattress. Be careful to ensure the powder is completely dry or you'll run the risk of damaging your vacuum. Also, you can use a wet dry vacuum to clean up damp powder. And then next, so the materials needed, you can see in the picture. So the safe handling practices is that bed linen becomes soiled when they come into contact with things like feces and urine. So washing soiled clothes and linen right away can help reduce infection from germs. Soiled bedsheet can cause infection when they come into contact with people or with any items around. So be sure to handle them with care and always wear gloves. Hold them away from you and keep them from touching clean surface or other clean linens. So if you can't wash dirty clothes or linen right away, store them in a container with a lid and wash them as soon as you can. So this is the basic hygiene that we're gonna do. So yun nga yung always wear a gloves to protect the other things that are clean to the germs. The next is removing feces and urine stain on delicate fabric such as bare skin and croc skin. So we have different fabric that na kinakailangan ng different procedure and then different ingredients. So in this fabric, we're gonna use the bare skin and croc skin. So this is the procedure. If the garment is labeled as dry clean only, put a pair of this disposable gloves and blot the stained area with the dry white paper towel until the moisture is removed. Sponge the stain with the clean damp cloth, white cloth, and then blot to dry. Do not use a colored cloth because the dye can transfer to the carpet or fabric, which create a new problem. Do not add additional water if the fabric is thick because the stain could grow bigger and be harder for the dry cleaner to remove. Even if the area looks clean, head to the dry cleaner to the point out that identify the stain. The urine can leave acid into fabric that will affect the fibers with time. If you are using a home dry cleaning kit, be sure to treat the stain with the provide stain remover before putting the garment in the dryer bag. So sa different fabric, kahit sa damit natin, 'di ba, may label siya sa likod na kung ano yung mga don'ts and do's na pwede natin gamitin kapag nililinis siya. So, example na lang yun dun sa bare skin and croc skin. So next,
And next is type of stain is the blood. The material used is bed sheet. Uh, this is the procedure in removing of blood stain. Number one is test hydrogen peroxide in an inconspicuous spot first to make it sure it won't discolor the fabric. Splash the blood stain with hydrogen peroxide, then let sit a few minutes and dab with the clean cloth, working from the outside of the stain in. And second is repeat if necessary. Once the stain is removed, launder the fabric. And number three is if the stain is still there, try this. Apply a couple drops of dishwashing liquid to the stain and gently rub, splash with ammonia, and then sprinkle with baking soda. And let sit for a few minutes. After that, number four is using a toothbrush, gently scrub the stain in a circular motion into it disappears. rinse with cool water, launder the fabric. And this is the tip is don't put the fabric in the dryer until the blood stain is completely removed. Otherwise, the dryer heat will cause the remaining remaining stain to set. And next is uh, materials needed. Bedsheet, blood stain removing items. I forgot to put the gloves, but uh, the first thing you need is the gloves for these materials needed. The second is hydrogen peroxide, and the third is paper towel or clean cloth. The fourth is mild dishwashing liquid, and the fifth is ammonia, and the sixth material is baking soda, and lastly is the soft toothbrush. And next, meron po tayo there are safe handling practices. If the blood has already dried and created a stain, the process for removing it will be similar, but a bit more time consuming. If you have tried the methods above with little success, it may be time for a more intensive approach. Number one, i-check mo yung sheets kung meron kung magagamitan ba siya ng bleach. Then white sheets are usually safe to bleach, and some colored fabrics can be bleached. Read the product and label closely and check the manufacturer care instruction to find out. Katulad po dun sa sinabi ni Hazel, dun po sa likod ng meron din pong ganun din. And color safe bleaches have the different formula from standard bleach and are typically marked as such. And number two, soak the sheet in a solution of water and laundry detergent. Number three, if not using bleach, soak the sheets for several hours and then hand wash with cold water and more detergent. Number four, if you're using a bleach, if using bleach, rinse the soak sheets thoroughly with cold water, then treat with a fabric safe bleach and machine wash. If fresh, sponge the stain with hydrogen peroxide or rub bar soap into the stain and scrub by hand in cold water. Apply laundry pre-treater or rub in liquid laundry detergent. And wash the remaining stain in the warm water with fabric safe bleach until the stain is gone. Next. Dito po, yung removing stain on delicate fabrics such as bare skin and cracked skin. There are some ways of removing this using procedure. Number one is soak for an hour in cool water. Soaking blood stain fabric in cool water can help break up the stain and make it easier to remove. And number two, wash as usual. Sometimes soaking blood, stain, and fabric, and then washing it in the washing machine is enough to remove a dried blood stain. However, it is recommended that you air dry the fabric rather than it in a dryer. If a stain still remains after washing, heat can set the stain. Number three, scrub with soap and water. This method works especially well on sturdy fabrics like cotton and linen. Number four, turn the fabric inside out by turning the blood stain face down. And the water and cleaning solution can attack the stain from the back, loosening the blood and pushing it off to the fabric. Number five, have patience. You may not be able to remove a blood stain on the first try. The trick to removing dried blood is trying a simple method, soap and water. And moving on to more complicated methods if needed. Number six, use an enzymatic cleaner if soap and water do not adequately remove the stain, move on to an enzymatic cleaner, which will be biodegrade the stain. You might consider purchasing or making your own enzymatic cleaner. Note, do not use enzymatic cleaner on wool or silk. Next.
Next is tea and coffee type of stain. So first is the step on removing the coffee and tea stain on the washable clothes. So first step is wipe away the moisture with a plain white paper towel or cloth. Unless the fabric is silk, this can cause a watermark. Then flooded the stain area with plain cool water. If possible, flush the stain from the wrong side by holding the stain under a faucet or with a cold running water. Or sponge the stain with a white cloth dipped in cold water. And if any color remains, you can use a stain remover pen like um, the Tide pen in you can buy it in Shopee. And then number two, before washing the drink stain item, pre-treat with a bit of heavy duty liquid detergent like Tide or Persil, because this detergent contains enough enzymes to remove the stain, or a stain removal spray or gel. Then step three, and gently work in the stain remover into the fabric with your fingers or soft bristles brush, and allow it to work for at least 10 minutes before washing. This step is particularly important if the coffee spill contain cream or other added flavorings. And wash the following care label direction using a good detergent and the hottest water recommended for the fabric. Then next is the carpet and upholstery. For this step one, when the drink hits the carpet, first you need to use is a white paper towel or old white cloth to blot up as much of the liquid as possible. Keep blotting or wiping until no more moisture is transferred from the carpet to the cloth. It's important to go ahead and treat the stain completely to prevent staining that is more difficult to remove later. Then step two, mix a solution of two teaspoons of dishwashing detergent in 2 cups of warm water. Then dip a clean white cloth or sponge or a soft bristle brush in the solution. Then step three, working from the outside edge of the stain toward the center to keep it from spreading. Then work the cleaning solution in the stain. Wipe away with the dry cloth to absorb the solution, then keep moving to clean the area of cloth as the stain is transferred. Then step four, then finish by dipping a clean cloth in plain water to rinse the spot. This is especially important because any so any soapy residue left in the carpet will attract more soil. And then step five, allow the stain to air dry away from the direct heat. Vacuum to lift the carpet fibers. Then step six, if the stain is older, mix a solution of oxygen-based bleach and cool water for the following package direction. Then the same cleaning solution and techniques recommended for carpet can be used for coffee stain and upholstery. And take care not to overwet the fabric because of excess moisture and in the cushions can cause mildew problem. In dry clean clothes, the first step is when tea or coffee stain happens in garments labeled as dry clean only. Wipe away the stain with a dry white cloth. Then step 2, sponge lightly the white float dump with the plain cold water and blot dry. As soon as possible, head to the cleaner and point out the identify the stain of your professional dry cleaner. Then last step, if you are using a home drying cleaning kit, be sure to treat the stain with the provided stain remover before putting the garment in the dryer bag. The safe handling practices are the precaution for the safe handling practices is to avoid with neat product on skin and eyes, wear protective clothing as per section, avoid contacts with skin and eyes for appropriate personal protection. Then materials to avoid, do not mix with other cleaning products unless advised to do so by the professional from the products, and store in closed original container in cool and dry area. Next.
The next is soft drinks. This is also type of stain. So the material used is washable clothes. Next page. Whenever we encounter this kind of stain, it is important that as soon as possible, we remove this kind of stain, because the longer it takes, it is hard to remove. And mostly, it is a color on fabric and carpets. And if the soft drink is bright in color, like orange or cherry soda, then the stain is from a food coloring dye. Next page. Sa una, binanggit natin yung carpet, yung fabric cloth. Example nito is yung bed sheet, tsaka pillows, as well as yung soda stain can be spilled out sa carpet. And whenever we encounter these instances, the first thing that we need to do is move as quickly as possible. Same with dun sa fabric. And begin using a white paper towel to blow up or wipe up the stain. And you can use a spatula to press it down. And kapag wala na tayo nakita or wala nang na-absorb na stain, then we are ready to remove the paper towel. And katulad po na mga binanggit kanina is we need to use a liquid hand dishwashing detergent. It is available in the home. And also mix in 1/2 distilled white vinegar and 2 cups of warm water. And also use a clean white cloth to blot the solution into the stain. And the next step is blow away the cleaning solution with a clean dry white cloth until no more color is transferred. Dip a clean white cloth into plain water to rinse the area. And if the instances, if the stain is not gone or the stain is still in the fabric or in the cloth, we need to use a chemical. So the first thing we do is just a first aid. But if the stain is not gone, we need to use the chemical. And the chemical we need to use in soda stain is, next page, rubbing alcohol, oxygen-based bleach, solvent-based stain remover. So these are the steps we need to follow when we encounter this kind of stain or the soda stain. Number 1 we need to do is blow away moisture with a white paper towel. So if you have any available paper towel in your home, use it. And second step is flush stain are from wrong side under cold water. And third step, if the stain is bright, like cherry soda, sponge with rubbing alcohol and rinse well. And fourth is wash as usual if the color is gone. And fifth step, if stain remains, treat with stain remover. And six, allow to work for 15 minutes and wash as usual. And check for stain before drying. And if necessary, treat with a solution of oxygen-based bleach and tepid water. And next is submerge the garment, allow soaking for 8 to hours. And second to the last procedure we need to do is check for stain and repeat the process if needed. If we see the fabric cloth is have a stain, and repeat the process, okay? And wash as usual. Okay, next. So we see the after procedure. This is the after procedure if we do the procedure. Next. This is the safe handling practices. So number one we need to do is to protect our hands because chemical can be dangerous to us. It can affect our skin. So the number one we need to do is put a gloves in our hands. And number one is keeping all cleaning chemicals in their original containers and never mixing chemicals, even if they are the same type of chemical. And also make sure all cleaning workers know exactly what the following signal words. Now let's proceed to safe handling practices. Whenever we hold a chemical, it is important that we should protect ourselves, number one, by wearing a gloves, because chemical can be dangerous to us. Without gloves, we can have a skin disease. And the second thing is we need to wear a mask because tendency is we can absorb the chemical and can be lead to lung cancer. So these are the procedure or these are the tips to have a safe handling practices. Number one is keeping all cleaning chemical in their original containers and never mixing chemicals, even if they are the same type of chemical. And number two, making sure all cleaning workers know exactly what the following signal words mean. So this is important. The one who is holding the chemical is knowledgeable about the chemical. Caution, it means the product should be used carefully but is relatively safe. And the second signal word is warning. So it means the product is moderately toxic. And the third one, and danger. The product is highly toxic and may cause permanent damage to skin and eyes. So I forgot to mention, we should also protect our eyes by wearing a goggles. And number four practices is material safety data sheets or MSDS for each chemical used or stored. So it is important because chemical has a expiration date. And the fifth one is when working with hazardous chemical, glove is a must to protect the bare hands for contamination, infection, or skin disease. And the last one is removing the stain of the soft drinks. The gloves that is needed to use is the nitrile gloves. This is a type of gloves wherein it protects against most chemicals and infectious agents. And after using the gloves, make sure to dispose it properly, then wash your bare hands. So these are the safe handling practices.
Next type of stain is a bird stain. Material used is a carpet. Next procedure in removing bird stain. So first is remove the moisture or stain from the carpet by using white paper towel. Press the towel into the stain and then keep until no more color or moisture transfer from the white paper towel. Second is make a cleaning solution and apply. Mix 1 tablespoon of liquid detergent, 1/2 cup distilled white vinegar, and 2 cups of warm color. Use clean white cloth to wipe out the solution into the stain. Next is number 3, blot and rinse away the finished solution. Blot with the finished solution until no more color is transferred. Dip a clean white cloth into plain water to rinse the area. It is important to remove um, the entire soapy residue because it can attract oil. Number 4 is air dry and vacuum. If the stain is gone, allow the carpet or air dry away from the direct heat and vacuum the lift in the carpet fiber. Last is treat with oxygen-based bleach. If the stain remains or the liquor is mixed with something colorful that contains food dyes, such as jello shots, make a solution of oxygen bleach and cold water following the package direction. Use a soft brittle brush to work the oxygen bleach solution into the carpet. Allow it to work for at least 1 hour before blotting away the moisture with a dry cloth. Repeat until all the stain is gone. Allow the carpet to air dry and then vacuum to release the carpet fiber. The materials needed: vacuum, sponge, gloves, and the paper towel. Safely handling practices. In dealing with gear stains on carpet, it should be cleaned the only spot of gear, not all the carpet, and remove it based on the stain removing practices of the company. Next is material used for clothes. Burst stain for clothes. Next, most important stain removal gear is to treat the stain as quickly as possible to make it as easy possible to remove the stain. First procedure is blot a wet stain. Blot away the moisture as much as possible with a white paper cloth. Number 2 is splash with water. With a washable garment or table linen, hold the fabric under a faucet with a running steam or cold water. Flush the stain after from the wrong side of the stain so that the stain is washed away from the surface of the fabric. Number 3, treat with rubbing alcohol or ammonia. Punch the stain with a bit of plain rubbing alcohol or non-rubbing regular ammonia and rinse well. If the stain is gone, wash as recommended for the fabric on the care label. Number 4, treat with laundry detergent. If some evidence of the stain remains, use a bit of heavy-duty liquid laundry detergent to treat the stain. This detergent contains enough enzymes to break down the mixture ingredients. Less expensive brand from not work as well. Allow the detergent to set on the fabric for at least 15 minutes. Number 5, wash as usual. Wash the, wash the garment or table linen as usual. Check the stain area before drying. If the stain is not gone, move to the next step. And last, soak and wash with oxygen-based bleach. If the stain remains on the fabric, mix a solution of oxygen bleach and keep it water, following package direction and submerge the garment. Allow it to soak for at least 4 hours or overnight, then laundry as usual. This type of bleach is safe for the natural and synthetic fabric that either white or color the stain is not gone. Repeat this step when no stain remains laundry as usual. Hint: make sure that the stain from the gear is gone after washing, but before you place in the dryer or you may set on the stain repeat it. Materials needed: water, running alcohol or regular ammonia, heavy-duty laundry detergent, oxygen-based bleach. Safe handling practices: same as dealing with the carpet, clean only the area where the beer is. Then after successfully get the stain, you can now fully wash. Next, oh. Next is type of used material is the couch for the birth. Next, procedure in birth. If the birth stain is on fabric, useful of upholstery and it's still wet, you can try blowing up as much of it possible with paper towel. If you regular towel or cloth, they will absorb the birth smell and will need it to be washed. Next, pour 1 table dishwashing liquid and 2 cups of cold water and a deep clean sponge into it. Keep blotting away at the stain until all the liquid is absorbed, but not oversaturate the fabric. Dump out the liquid and use plain cold water to clean, blotting away at the stain until the cleaning solution is all removed. Then blot dry with clean paper, water, or cloth. Once you are sure that the stain and the smell are gone, you can dry the spot with a hair dryer or a fan. For an older beer stain on a couch or the dry stain, try using rubbing alcohol and white vinegar first. First, sponge the stain with cold water, ensuring that the mark is so kapag mas moist yung stain, mas mabilis siyang matanggal or mas mabilis siyang linisin. Combine 2/3 cup of rubbing alcohol with 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and submerge clean cloth in it. Squeeze it out and press into the upholstery. You may need to keep changing the cloth and replaying it for more stubborn stains. Use a sponge and clean water to blot at the stain until the cleaning solution is gone and allow it to dry. Materials needed: paper towel, sponge, vacuum, and scrub. Safe handling practices. Same as dealing with the carpet and clothes, clean only the area where the beer is, then after successfully get the stain, you can fully wash.
So the next type of stain is food. Material used is blanket. Next. So the procedure in removing food stain, number 1, sprinkle both sides of the fabric with flour, cornstarch or talcum powder to remove as much fat as possible. Let it sit for 30 minutes. 3, shake off the excess powder, then rub gently with mild dish soap and rinse under hot water. Repeat the process as needed until the stain is done. So the materials needed are yung soft lang po na brush, sponge, and nakalimutan ko pong ilagay yung gloves. Tsaka yung chemicals needed po. Next done. So safe handling practices. First is store stain removing products carefully out reach of children. The storage area should be cool, dry, and apart from food storage areas. Keep bottles tightly capped, boxes closed. Do not transfer cleaning products in new containers. Keep them in their original container so that you never have to search for directions for their proper use so that they are always clearly labeled. Follow the directions on the product label and heed all warnings. Glass or unchipped porcelain containers are preferable to metal or plastic when working with stain removal agents. Never use plastic with solvents. Never use any containers that is rusty. Clean all containers thoroughly after use. Next slide. And do not experiment with mixtures of stain removal agents. Never combine products unless specifically directed to do so. Such combinations can be dangerous. If the cleaning process requires the use of more than one stain removal agent, rinse each before applying the next. Next one. So removing food stain on delicate fabrics such as bear skin and croc skin. Acetone is a colorless liquid that smells like peppermint. It can be used on stains caused by substances such as fingernail, polish, or household cement, although it will not damage international fibers or most synthetics. It should be pre-tested to make sure that dyed fabrics will not be harmed. It should not be used on fabrics containing acetate. Use only pure acetone on stains. Although most nail polish removes contain acetone, the other ingredients included in this product can worsen stains. Caution, acetone is flammable and evaporates rapidly, producing toxic fumes when using acetone. Work outside or in a well-ventilated place. Avoid inhaling fumes stored in a tightly cupped container in a cool place.
So the last one is mud, dirt, grease, and oil. So the types of stain is mud and dirt, and the material used is carpet. Next, please. So the procedures in removing mud and dirt. First one, let the mud dry and then vacuum up as much as possible. Second, mix 1 tablespoon of liquid hand dishwashing detergent with 2 cups or warm water. Third is using a clean white cloth, sponge the stain with the detergent solution. And fourth is blot until the liquid is absorbed. And the last one is repeat the step 3 and 4 until the stain disappears. So the materials needed, as you can see in the picture, a clean cloth, sponge, and yung detergent, dishwashing detergent natin, and yung cups. Next. So sa safe handling practices, if the mud is red and has black discoloration, mix a solution of oxygen, bleach, and water following package directions. So saturate the stain area and allow the solution to work for at least an hour and then blot away. Allow the area to dry away from direct heat or sunlight. Vacuum to lift the carpet fibers. So the same cleaning solution and steps recommended for the carpet to clean mud from upholstery. Take care not to overwet the fabric because excess moisture in the cushions can cause mold problems. Next. So removing mud and dirt and delicate fabrics such as bear skin and croc skin. So for wet brown mud, carefully wipe off the excess mud off with a damp cloth. Wipe off the entire muddied area with your damp cloth. Going from seam to seam, and after you have gotten out as much as you can, back it off with a dry cloth. Take care not to rub too hard, or you may pour some of the dirt further inside your leather. If the mud has already dried, however, avoid rewetting your leather at first. Use a soft bristle brush to remove as much dirt as you can, and then take to it with a damp cloth or leather cleaner. Do the same process, gently wiping the muddied area off, seam to seam, and backing it off with a dry cloth afterwards. Your red clay, like mud variety, poses a different sort of challenge. For this monster, you will want to grab good leather cleaner, such as Chamberlain Street Cleaner number 2. And red mud can stain very easily. So as opposed to its brownish cousin or yung brown mud, and may leave a permanent stain in your leather if you are not careful. So as usual, it is best to get this mud while it is fresh and wet. Remove any excess mud with a damp towel, then apply leather cleaner to a clean towel and wipe it in. There is one thing to note, always make sure you have tested your leather cleaner on the leather you are cleaning before actually using it. Because there are some instances if you are not testing it first, there's a chance to damage that cloth or other materials. And some leather cleaners and conditioners can have disastrous effects on leather if they are not designed for each other. So yeah, next please. So next one is the grease and oil type of stain, and the material used is bedsheet. Next. So procedures in removing grease and oil. I have 4 ways in removing grease and oil. So for you to have choices. So the first one is spot clean with degreasing oil. With degreasing dish soap. First one, wet the stain well with water and gently rub a teaspoon of grease cutting dish soap, like done, directly on the stain. Step 2, let's sit for about 30 minutes. Third, wash with a gentle detergent and hot water. Note, we usually recommended washing in cold water to prevent shrinkage and retain color vibrancy. But in the case of stains, hot water is more effective. That said, you may want to try with cold watering first and then resorting to hot water if the stain doesn't come out. So step 4, if possible, hang dry your sheets. This way, on the off chance the stain doesn't come out, you won't hit set it by throwing your sheets in the dryer, and you can still give another method a try. Next, second one is try a bleach-free stain remover. So step 1, apply a bleach-free stain remover like our grandma's spot remover, evenly to the affected area. Step 2, let's sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Third, wash with a gentle detergent in hot water. Again, when washing in hot water, you run the risk of shrinking your sheets, so consider trying with cold water first. Fourth one, if possible, hang dry your sheets better still. Dry your sheets in the sun to brighten their color and kill any lingering bacteria. Yeah, bacteria. If not possible, tumble dry your sheet on the lowest heat setting. Next. Third one is soak overnight with baking soda. Step 1, mix about 1/2 cup of baking soda with room temperature water. Step 2, add your sheets, agitate for a few minutes and then let soak overnight. Step 3, once your sheet have soaked for at least 8 hours, drain the dirty water, then wash as usual in cold water using a gentle detergent. And last step, if possible, hang dry your sheets. If not, tumbles dry and low. Next. Last one is cover with baking soda and let dry. Step 1, make a paste by mixing 4 tablespoons baking soda with 1/4 cup of water. Step 2, cover the stain with this paste and let dry. Step 3, once the paste is completely dry, wash your sheets in cold water using a gentle detergent. And step 4, if possible, hang dry your sheets. If not, tumbles dry and low. Next. So yan. So materials needed, Dawn or yung grease cutting dish soap, baking soda, and yung grandma's spot remover. Next, please. So yung safe handling practices naman, to remove grease stains from linen, saturate the stain area with a heavy-duty liquid detergent, pre-treatment spray or thin paste made from powdered detergent and water. Gently work into the stain area with your finger or a clean white cloth. Wash using the warmest water recommended for the fabric. Air dry because grease stains seem to disappear when wet, and heat from the dryer will set the stain. Repeat as necessary until the stain is gone. Next one. So removing grease and oil on delicate fabrics such as bare skin and cracked skin. So first and foremost, you should always getting leather excessively wet. While many may assume that their crocodile leather repels water rather than absorbing it, too much moisture can actually cause damage to the finish of the leather. So if your crocodile leather wear gets wet, it's important to clean up the excess moisture promptly. So to remove excess moisture, gently rub the affected area of the crocodile leather product with a soft, dry towel or cleaning cloth to soak up the majority of the excess moisture. So once that is done, hang dry and the item to finish removing excess moisture. It is important to avoid using direct sunlight or any other direct heat source when drying the leather, as that may cause damage to the finish and result in discoloration or cracks. So after the leather is dry, apply leather conditioner formulated for your crocodile leather to help protect the finish and keep it looking new. When applying the crocodile leather conditioner, be sure to follow the application instructions on the conditioner's packaging. That's important. And leather conditioner for crocodile hide should be easy to find at an exotic leather goods retailer. However, if you are having difficulty finding the right crocodile leather conditioner for treating the specific finish of your crocodile skin, contacting the manufacturer can prove helpful for finding the right crocodile leather care products. So I think that's it. Thank you.